Arsenal are still clear at the top of the Premier League, and everybody seems to be forgetting that. Now, hit the like button, get yourself subscribing, turn on that bell notification button. But I want to start by saying something that's maybe a little deep for some people. And I feel football pundits of today, by and large, a large percentage of journalists, and the influence now that even content creators have over young football fans is shaping the next generation. And I believe it's in a harmful way. Because every single week is a new autopsy. Every single week is a new narrative. And I'm going to start with Manchester United for a moment. And it's why I believe it's killing the game. Up until Ruben Amorim was sacked, every single week, the constant theme was, does three at the back work? Does the shape work? Does this style work? Does this get the best out of players? People like myself, I am angry, by the way, when I'm saying this, because it's something I'm passionate about. People like myself were criticizing elements of how we played, alongside criticizing the average nature of many of our players. Some nowhere near good enough technically, some nowhere near good enough physically, some nowhere near enough mentally. Some of those, and some of our players, all three, two of the three, if not at least one. On top of all of that, someone like myself, but by the way, my ego is scratching. It's scratching at me. I can feel it right now. When United fans, the media, go through this sort of period of, we're going to blame the Glazers now. We're going to blame the ownership. Right now is the time to focus on the ownership. Normally it's during, when ironic, it is a transfer window. I forget, it's January. It's nearly always during a transfer window when the ownership gets focused on. The transfer window shuts and it's back to the manager. The manager gets sacked, and then it's the players. Then it's the window, and it's the owners. Then football starts again. We've moaned about the players. Back to manager. Rather than having a balanced view of these things all the time. And I don't mean after every match reaction, because there might be a week where you think the manager really ruined it. There might be a week where the players were a problem. But when it comes to discussing our football teams, discussing our football clubs, I think by and large we lack the balance. And the mainstream media pushes this. The mainstream media pushes this in a big way. And I'm sick and tired of it happening in my fan base, in my football club, from the media. But I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I'm going to push back against it for others. We saw in the summer this disgusting lie created about Alexander Isak. The way Isak removed himself from Newcastle, the way he pushed for a move out. Nobody cries. Nobody cries internally when a player does join their club. We all invariably cheer it. But the media, I took exception with this summer, and I defended Liverpool wholeheartedly. Why? Because they made out like nobody had done what Alexander Isak did before. They made it sound like this unprecedented discovery of fire. Oh my God, no person's ever done this. He's one of the Wright brothers. He invented flight. He is going to change the course of transfers forever. Lies. All we are doing is turning the next generation of football fans into a polarized mess. We're not teaching them the history of the game, what has happened before, what is and isn't normal. And we saw it again last night with the Martinelli situation. Stupid, classless, and idiotic to push Conor Bradley. Absolutely. I agree. But the narrative being pushed by the media is, we all saw it was a bad fall. We all saw it was a bad injury. Martinelli knew. What a disgrace. Well, he didn't know. There's proof of that. At no point in the build-up to him going back over towards the player did he even look. Did he even see that there was an injury? But yet the only angle we're being shown on television is from this point of view, because they're pushing the lie, they're pushing the narrative that we all knew it was obvious. And only Arne Slot is the only person I've seen thus far on the professional side of the game, not the fan side of it, the professional side, speaking sense by saying, Martinelli, do you know what? I believe that if he would have seen what happened to Conor Bradley. If he'd have known he was seriously hurt, he wouldn't have done anything. Players react like Martinelli react because there's so much time wasting in the games. And 99 times out of 100, a player is exaggerating the injury to slow the game down, to see it out. Now, we all know that. We all know that's real. But yet we decided last night, because of Gary Neville, because of Jason Cundy, to ignore that and push a narrative that Gabriel Martinelli is an evil, vindictive, nasty piece of work. And again, that is not just a polarizing view, it's an absolute exaggeration on every level. And why do I say all this in the build-up to talk about the title race? Because we're doing it in that area too. I felt if Arsenal won last night and went 8 points clear, they'd become the clear favourites. Clear favourite still doesn't mean that City wouldn't have had a chance or an opportunity. It still doesn't mean there can't be a collapse. But an 8-point gap just requires a 9-point swing. And by the looks of things so far this season, I personally would just make Arsenal the clear favourites. As it remains, they're the marginal favourites, the higher end of it, but that's where I put them. But I've seen it all week. City drop points. They're done. They're finished. It's over. There's no more they can do. It's impossible. 0% chance for City. I've seen people talk about Pep needing to be sacked, that football has left him. And there are certainly things to criticize with Pep Guardiola. There's certainly things to push back against. But now we're letting these TikTok opinions into the mainstream. The mainstream producers are pushing this into the pundits, and it's all we're hearing. 2 days ago, it was done 100% over. Then Arsenal draw, and it's, they're bottle jobs. City going to overtake them now. Oh my God, this is proof all along. I should never have believed it was over. No, you've just got to stop lying. You've just got to stop exaggerating every single situation. Have honest conversations. Debate things through. Take some time to listen to one another. Arsenal were terrible last night. And Liverpool, in terms of their defensive setup and their control of the ball in the second half, was actually amazingly good. But we live in a world where you've either got to say Arsenal were trash, or you've got to say Liverpool were brilliant. How about a combination of the two? Why have we lost? Why have we lost that? Where has that gone? Please don't be suckered in to every time something happens, wanting to rip into people, slag people off. We all have agendas. There's nothing wrong with an agenda. I have an agenda against the PGMOL. I have an agenda to protect Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy because I think it is deliberately lied about. We all have agendas. Admit them at least. But if you've got one, at least construct your argument based on facts and information, and then at least apply that same logic across multiple clubs and not just pick and choose. So some people will pep the checkbook manager. I see United fans do this. Pep the checkbook manager. Why? Because he spends a lot of money to win. Man United and Fergie spent a lot of money to win. Not as much as people lie about him spending. They exaggerate it massively. Only the 4-5 spender during his time in the Premier League. Not the highest, and actually was outspent by City and Chelsea by a long way. Spurs, to put it into context, though, Spurs only spent about 50 to 60 million pound less than him. But we still spent a lot of money. So I won't do the checkbook nonsense because that will be used against my own manager. We're almost creating footballing wars and debates that don't need to exist. But bringing it back to the title race. By the way, remember, like, share, subscribe, get this out there. Arsenal fans should be disappointed with what happened yesterday. But the way the mainstream now works, the way the rage baiters now work is we've got to make it sound like it's the end of the world. Have you noticed now every time a team drops points, it's got to be the apocalypse overall? There is nothing wrong with, if you are fuming with your team yesterday, if you're an Arsenal fan, go in on them. It's fine. But it doesn't need to be then backed up with, this is why we're not winning the league. Why? And then this is what they all say. If we keep playing like this, we won't. Yeah, we all agree. If you hold your breath for 15 minutes, you're probably going to die. If you don't eat or drink water for a month, you're probably going to be dead. If you jump into the ocean and pick a fight with a great white shark, I'm betting on the great white shark. Just such obvious things being said. The question is, Do you think you'll keep performing like this season? Your answer could be yes. Great. Let's detail why. Why do you believe that? What's going to lead to it? How could you circumvent that? Let's have a conversation. If the answer is no, then beyond complaining about the game in itself, don't lose your mind. And I listen, I might have opinions that enrage people. Some people do believe that I'm saying these things to enrage people. I can assure you on the eyes of my children, I definitely sit there at times when I'm going to be streaming with my friends and think, oh, I'm going to say this to wind him up. But it's a bit of banter. A small percentage of the show is banter with a friend of mine. Of course, there has to be fun in this game. But when it comes to a video like today, a video that I do when I'm talking about the PGMOL, my match reactions, I don't sit there once and write something down and go, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this because it's going to wind everybody up. When I'm talking seriously, of course, there's moments for banter, but it should be clear. But I find what's happened now in the game is 80% of it is a joke, banter. I'm going to say something for effect as opposed to giving a true opinion. And for me, this is killing the game. I think we're doing too much of it. You know, too much of anything is bad for you. Too much of anything is bad for you. Someone is probably going to write a comment saying, no, too much vitamin C is. And there might be a scientific fact that something, too much of one thing isn't too bad for you. But I think it is. And I think we're doing too much of this and it's damaging real footballing conversations. But look, as ever, I want your views. I want your opinions on this. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in that comment section below. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.